Bill, the president chose an interesting time and place to make this speech before an audience, accepting the Nobel Peace Prize, of course, before an audience, I think it's fair to say, of European leftists. He defended the use of force and said that the U.S. is not the problem with the world. How significant a change in the president's worldview?
It could be pretty significant. It wasn't the speech the Nobel Peace Prize Committee expected him to give, I think, when they awarded him the prize entirely for being not George W. Bush. And he gave the most Bush-like speech of his presidency. What did he say? The belief that peace is desirable is rarely enough to achieve it. That's a very elegant and strong statement of the fact that you can't just want peace. He made it clear that you need military force, that he will act if threats are looming, not just once they've attacked. He actually articulated his own version of the Preemptive doctrine. He mentioned Iran twice in the speech. I think it was the only nation he mentioned twice as a problem both for human rights and for their nuclear program. And in this speech, unlike in Prague and in Cairo, his two previous big foreign speeches, he didn't say the Islamic Republic of Iran. He just dealt with Iran as a threat. So it was quite a different speech, and we'll see if it's followed up by real policy changes. So now it shows how possibly important this speech is, in the sense that he really has, I think, partly because of the Afghanistan decision, but partly because of the failure of his engagement efforts. He tried it. He was entitled to. He won the election. He said he wanted to engage Iran. He said he wanted to have a reset button with Russia. He said he wanted to have. He did an Asia trip where he was very mild with the Chinese on human rights. He's totally pulled his punches, really almost shamefully so, I'd say, in the case of the Iranians who went into the streets in June. None of it has worked. And I very much hope he has really learned the lesson that it hasn't worked. You know, what Mara mentioned, there's still a lot of stuff in the speech that I'm not crazy about, as Liz suggested. Mara mentioned the fact that he does talk a lot about acting together, acting in concert, but there's this one sentence: there will be times when nations, acting individually or in concert, will find the use of force not only necessary but morally justified.
Well,
that's a pretty striking statement. I mean, I think any American president should say that, who's looking at Iran developing nuclear weapons. I think he is. It's not just that Israel might use preemptive force against Iran. This speech lays the predicate for a legitimate use of force to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons by the U.S.